Greetings, yoga friends, and welcome to this Be Where You Are yoga flow. In this practice, we'll be getting in touch with what it feels like to be inside our bodies and releasing judgment around choosing different variations of a pose. I'll be using 2 blocks and a blanket today, and you can use props or none at all as your body instructs. So now take just a moment to gather what you need, and I'll see you on the mat. So we're going to start out today in child's pose. So if you like, you can use your blanket here to pad your knees. And you can keep your knees close together or widen them out, whatever feels best for you. And we'll just shift the hips back towards the heels here. And just remember, sometimes your hips may not want to go all the way back to the heels, and that's fine too. If you find your hips are slightly elevated here, just go with that. So we'll just take this time to arrive in our bodies and arrive on our mats. Most of us have spent the day working or doing things. So this is our opportunity to switch to just being. Begin to lengthen your breath. Maybe begin to notice what it feels like to be inside your fingers or inside your toes. Notice what parts of your body find this position delicious. And maybe what other parts of your body are asking for some attention today. And just continue smoothing out your breath, coming into your body, coming into this time on your mat. And then we'll bring this awareness with us as we rise up from our child's pose and come into tabletop. So bringing your knees right under your hips, your wrists right under your shoulders. And very gently here for just a moment, I want you to drop your heart through your shoulders so that your shoulders rise up above your back. And we do this so that when we press away from the mat, we understand what that means. So now actively press away from the mat and bring your heart space back up between your shoulders. Now we'll keep this engagement in the shoulders. And as we're inhaling, we'll roll the tailbone up towards the ceiling. And then as we're exhaling, roll the tailbone under. And feel how the spine naturally follows as you inhale, rolling that tailbone up. We don't have to do anything special to tell our head to come up. As soon as we rotate that tailbone up, the head comes up. And rotating the tailbone under, the head comes under. Just continue moving through this cat-cow with your own breath 2 or 3 times. And then we'll all meet in a neutral spine and tabletop, taking the gaze just slightly in front of the hands And then walking the hands a couple of handprints forward, we'll turn the toes under and shift the hips up, keeping the knees nice and bent here. And again, feeling that engagement pressing out of the shoulders and moving the weight of the body back towards the heels, even here with our knees nice and bent. And take a nice deep breath. And then as you're exhaling, just begin lowering one heel. Inhaling back to the toes, exhaling, lowering the other heel. Nice and slow and mindful here. Just tuning in again to where you are today, where your body is, what this feels like as you gently lower each heel. And a couple more breaths here. And then we'll inhale up to both toes and exhale, just gently relaxing the heels towards the mat here, maybe straightening the knees slightly, but keeping that nice straight back. And then bending the knees deeply, we'll take the gaze forward and walk walk the feet up to the hands at the top of the mat. And here you might bring your blocks to the sides of your feet, placing your hands on the blocks here and just allowing the blocks to support you. And again, you don't need to have blocks here. You can bend your knees deeply, bringing your fingertips to the floor. And just take a moment here, maybe coming into ragdoll, holding each elbow, maybe just allowing your hands to relax on the blocks, or finding some other movement here that appeals to you. Relaxing the crown of the head down to the floor. Relaxing the shoulders. And then bringing the fingertips back to the floor, the hands to the blocks. We'll bend both knees deeply and inhale up to stand with a flat back. Bring the hands to heart center. And just notice here for a moment what it feels like to come up to stand. Maybe tune into your foundation, feeling into all four corners of the feet. And then from here, we'll come into a sun salutation variation. So this sun salutation is going to include some lunges and also a modified pyramid. So to begin, we'll inhale the arms up overhead. You can bring the hands to meet overhead, interlacing the fingers and pointing the pointer fingers up top. We'll sandwich the ears in between the biceps, and as we're exhaling, come into just a little back bend. Inhaling, we'll trace those fingers back up overhead. And then exhale, coming into a forward fold, bringing the hands down to the blocks or to the floor. Inhaling to come up halfway. Nice, straight, flat back here. Exhale, coming back into the fold. We're going to take a nice big step back with the left leg. And here you can come down to the knee if you like, or stay up in a high lunge. Exhaling, opening the heart forward. And then we'll all drop the back knee to the mat. And as we're taking our next exhale, you can bring the blocks back with you if you have them, flexing the toes up towards the face. If you are on the fingertips here, maybe bending into the knee to keep the back nice and straight. Inhaling, we'll come forward, rolling back up on the toe, moving the blocks out of the way here, planting both hands, coming back to a plank or perhaps a half plank. And then hugging the elbows into the sides, coming down to the floor for chaturanga. Inhaling up, baby cobra. Exhale to release. Inhale to press back up to plank or half plank. And rolling the toes under, exhaling, coming back, downward facing dog. Bending both knees, shifting the gaze forward, and walking back to the top of the mat. And then from here, inhale up to stand with a flat back. Hands come to meet overhead. Once again, interlacing the fingers, exhaling, tracing that line with the fingers, little back bend. Inhale, back upright. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Exhale to fold. Stepping back with the right leg this time, maybe dropping that back knee. And exhaling as we look forward. Staying on that back knee. We'll shift the hips back as we bring those blocks with us, flexing the left toe back up towards the face. Inhaling to roll forward. Now we'll come up on the toes, moving the blocks out of the way, stepping back to plank or half plank, and coming through your chaturanga. Inhaling up, baby cobra, using those back muscles, not the hands. Exhale to release. Inhale up through half plank or full plank. And exhale back to downward dog. Bending the knees deeply, shifting the gaze forward. Walking the feet back up to the top of the mat. Inhale up halfway here. If you like, bring those blocks back in. Exhale all the way into your fold, bending the knees if you need to. And then inhaling up to stand with a flat back. Hands come down to heart center. And just take some time here to close your eyes and notice. And then rolling the shoulders back onto the back. We'll come back to our foundation, grounding into all four corners of the feet, pulling up through the pelvic floor, engaging that mula bandha, engaging the belly muscles. And then from here, inhaling the arms up overhead. And exhaling, coming back to forward fold, hands on our blocks. We'll step back with the right foot here. Exhaling as we shift the gaze forward. And then moving the blocks out of the way. Planting both hands, we'll step that left leg back. Exhaling as we come into downward facing dog. You have a choice here. You can stay here in your down dog for 2 breaths, or you can bring the big toes together, inhaling the right leg up, exhaling right knee to right elbow. Inhale, right leg up, exhale, right knee to left elbow. Inhaling the right leg up, everybody now. And then exhaling, bringing the right leg through, coming into a full high lunge, or maybe coming into a low lunge. And then from whatever lunge you've chosen, inhaling the arms up overhead. And we'll exhale as we open toward the front leg. Now you have an option here. You can bring the hand to the hip and the knee. Allow the arms to be extended. And then we'll inhale the arms back up overhead. And here you may want to come to a high lunge. So rolling that toe under and then pivoting that left heel down to the floor will open up warrior one. Nice big deep breath here. And then exhale, coming into a side angle pose. Or maybe windmilling that top arm up and over the ear, coming into extended side angle. Inhaling up, reverse warrior. And then we'll exhale as we windmill those hands back around, coming to frame the right foot, maybe bringing your blocks in, shifting the gaze forward, and then planting the hands on either side of that right foot. We'll shift the right foot back, coming into a plank or half plank, coming through your vinyasa if you like, or going straight to downward dog. Exhale to release. Inhaling back to plank or half plank. Exhale, downward dog. And now again, you can stay here in your down dog for a couple of breaths, or you can bring those big toes to touch. We'll inhale the left leg up this time. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, left knee to right elbow. And now everyone inhaling the left leg up. Exhaling, left knee comes through center. Bringing in your blocks if you like. Dropping to that back knee if you like, or staying up. And then we'll all inhale the arms up overhead. Exhaling as we open towards that front knee. Bringing the hands down to the hip and the knee if you prefer that variation. Sweeping the arms back up overhead. Rolling that toe under in the back, inhaling as we come up, and then pivoting that heel back down to the mat, coming into warrior two. Nice big inhale here, and exhale as we tilt into extended side angle or side angle. You can windmill that arm up over the ear if you like, feeling that connection all the way from the fingertips to the outside of the feet. Inhaling up, reverse warrior. And exhale, windmilling the hands down, coming back down to your blocks. Shining the heart forward. Shifting those blocks out of the way. Coming back to your plank or half plank. Exhale as you come to your chaturanga. Inhale up, baby cobra. Remembering you can always skip this part and go straight to downward dog. Inhaling up, half plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking 3 deep breaths here. Practicing some acceptance of whatever has happened in your practice so far today. Maybe whatever has happened in your whole day so far today. And now we'll bend the knees deeply, shifting the gaze forward. Walk or hop your feet to the top of the mat. And then inhale up to stand with a flat back. Bring the hands to heart center. And close the eyes and breathe and notice. Or maybe make whatever adjustments you need to make to be comfortable here. And now bringing that little micro bend back into the knees. We'll inhale the arms up overhead and exhale as we come to forward fold. Maybe bringing your hands to the blocks if you like. Taking an inhale and an exhale here. On our next inhale, we'll come up to chair pose. So some options for your arms here, perhaps right out front, maybe overhead, or maybe you prefer to bring your hands to heart center. So determining where you are with this pose today. And then if your hands are not already at heart center, bringing them together, bringing them to heart center. So we're going to come into a twist here now. So if you like, you can take this left elbow to the outside of the right knee, coming into a twist this way. Or if you prefer, once again, you can bring the hand to the opposite knee and one hand to the hip. And now inhaling back to center, bringing those hands back to heart center, and then just tilting over here, coming into our forward fold. Keeping the knees just as bent as you need to this time to bring the fingertips to the floor, and then heel toe those feet out to the edges of the mat. And again, bending as much into the knees as you need to, taking the fingers underneath the feet here, and just allowing the legs to extend slightly. Maybe the elbows come out a little bit to the sides. Feeling a nice stretch in the hamstrings here, but no tension in the lower back. If you're feeling some tension in the lower back, bring those hands out from underneath the feet, bend the knees just a bit more. Couple of deep breaths. Good. Now bringing the hands out from underneath the feet. We'll heel toe the feet back to shoulder width apart. And then from here, we'll inhale back up to our chair pose, choosing your variation for your arms. Continue to breathe. Maybe deepen into your chair. Exhale, hands come to heart center. And then coming into your variation of this twist, either bringing the elbow to the outside of the knee, going in the opposite direction this time. Inhaling back to heart center. Exhaling, tilting back over, forward fold. Heel toe those feet out to the edges of the mat. Grasping the toes this time with the peace fingers. Again, just keeping those knees as much bent as you need for them to be. And then straightening the knees as much as is comfortable and allowing those elbows to come out to the sides. Nice, deep, smooth breaths here. Releasing the toes, heel toe those feet back to hip width apart, bending the knees, planting both hands, stepping back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. First breath. 2 more on your own. Rolling the tailbone up towards the ceiling, pressing actively out of the mat. Body weight going back towards the heels. And then when you've reached the end of that 3rd breath, dropping the knees to the mat, And shifting the hips back, coming into the child's pose of your choice. Taking a moment here to rest, remembering all the variations of child's pose. Maybe you like to have your knees out wide. Maybe you like to have your knees close. Perhaps bringing your hands underneath your forehead or extending your hands back towards your heels is what feels good today. Ask yourself, where am I in this pose today? And then have that open intention of accepting that answer. Good. And now extending the arms back out long overhead. We'll use our inhale to rise up from this pose, rolling the toes under, exhaling, coming into downward facing dog. And again, you can stay here for a couple of breaths, or you can join me. We'll inhale the left leg up, exhaling to bring that left knee to left elbow. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, left leg up, everyone this time. And then exhale, bringing that left leg through. You can bring your blocks in here if you like, coming into our high lunge pose, allowing the hips to sink forward and the chest to shine through. And then dropping to that back knee if you like, or staying elevated. We'll inhale the arms up overhead. And this time, as we exhale, we'll open away from the front leg. So taking that twist to the other side. Inhaling, we'll bring the arms back up overhead. Exhale, coming back into our hands back around that front leg. And then we're going to bring that back foot forward, just a couple of footprints so that the heel can contact the mat. And inhale up to warrior one. Pressing that right hip forward, pulling the left hip back. Inhaling here to grow tall. And then exhaling, we'll open warrior two. Taking some time to check in with your alignment. And then taking that gaze softly over the front hand. Sweeping that back hand back forward, coming back into warrior one. And now keeping the right arm reaching up towards the ceiling, we'll allow that left arm to come around behind, reaching for the back of the right thigh as the gaze comes down. Woo. And the class about being happy with where you are tonight, it's great for the teacher to lose balance. We'll bring that left arm back up overhead. And exhale back to warrior two. Inhaling, we'll come to five-pointed star pose, so reaching those fingertips up and out. Feet come back to parallel. And then we'll exhale, coming into our wide leg forward fold. Just allowing yourself to sink into your forward fold here again, keeping your knees as bent as you need to. If you like to bring a block around in front, bring your hands to that block. And then we're going to walk our fingers over to the left, allowing our feet to move with us, bringing our hands back to the blocks or fingertips back to the mat, coming into pyramid pose here. If you're using blocks, you might like to turn them up, or maybe you like to lower them down. So again, just being comfortable with where you are today. Peeling back through that left hip, forward through the right. And then when you're ready, on an exhale, we'll bend that front knee and then inhale back up to warrior one. Exhale, hands come down to the waist. And inhale, the right foot back to meet the left. Take a moment to readjust and notice. And then we'll try this again on the other side. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale as we sweep down, coming into forward fold, bringing your blocks in if you like. And now stepping back with the right foot, shining the heart forward, moving the blocks out of the way, and shifting back, downward facing dog. Again, staying here in your downward facing dog for a couple of breaths, or inhaling a right leg up. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale the leg up. Exhale, right knee, left elbow. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, right leg comes through center. Coming into our lunge here. Chest comes forward. And then shifting that back foot forward slightly so that the heel connects with the mat. We'll inhale the arms up overhead, coming into warrior one. Stacking that knee over the ankle, reaching up, pulling back through that right hip, forward through the left. And then on an exhale, we'll open up, warrior two. Shifting the gaze over that front finger. And then windmilling that back hand back around, coming back into warrior one. Reaching those left fingertips up high as we allow the right hand to come around to the back of the left thigh, shifting the gaze down and back. Inhaling the arm back up overhead. Exhaling, opening back into warrior two. Inhaling, 5-pointed star. Feet come back to parallel. Exhaling as we come into our wide leg forward fold here. Bringing your block in front of you if you like. Allowing the crown of the head to relax down towards the floor. And placing your block back at the top of the mat. Begin to walk those fingertips around, turning the feet back towards the top of the mat, back heel in contact with the mat, and then coming into our pyramid pose on the right side. And remembering that both sides are different. So you may want a little bit more height on one side or a little less height on one side. Nice straight back here. Keeping the shoulders on the back. Chest opening forward. And then when you're ready, exhale to bend that knee. Inhale, arms sweep back up overhead, coming back into warrior one. And then exhale, hands come down to the waist. Inhale, left foot to meet the right. Hands come back to heart center. And just notice. Now inhale the head up. And you can stay at the top of your mat here. I'm going to come into a little balanced pose. I'll turn toward you so you can see, and I'm going to move my blanket out of the way. So to start off here from our Tadasana, we'll just bring our weight into the left foot, softening into that left knee slightly. And we're just going to bring that right heel up to the glute, reaching back, coming into a thigh stretch on this side. And you can extend that left arm up overhead if you like, pulling in through the belly button for stability, rooting down through that right hip, trying to bring the knees to parallel, and remembering that it's always okay to stop and use a wall here. Maybe that's where you are today. And that's the joy of a home practice. Nobody can see what you're doing. So go find your wall if you need that. And now we'll let that leg gently come down, taking this stretch into the other side now. Bringing the left leg up behind, inhaling the arm up overhead, finding your wall or maybe your chair, finding your focal point. And then when you're ready, allowing that to release. Maybe shaking the water off your legs a little here. We're going to set up for a tree pose now. So coming back into that place where your weight is in your left foot, we'll turn the right toes out, bringing that right heel above the left ankle, pulling in through the belly button here and imagining sinking that right hip down. And then when you're ready, bringing that right foot up the calf, staying under the knee, or perhaps bringing it up to the inner thigh. And if you don't have that in your practice, just being okay with where you are today. And maybe allowing your arms to come up overhead, maybe keeping your hands at heart center. And then when you're ready, bringing that right leg back around in front, allowing the hips to come into alignment, and then slowly releasing down to the mat. And now we'll bring the weight into the right foot, turning the left toes out. And then just find your tree on this side. I'm going to be silent for a few minutes. So just feel your way into this tree. And then when you're ready, find your way out of your tree. And bring that left foot down. Shake the legs out. And if you're not already at the top of your mat, you can come back to the top of your mat. And we'll bring those blocks with us if you have them here. We'll inhale the arms up overhead, really reaching up tall through those fingertips, grounding down through the heels, bringing that little bend into the knees. Exhale, forward fold. And then stepping the left foot back, we're going to drop this the left knee to the mat, taking the top of the left foot to the mat also, shining that heart forward. And then exhaling as we pull the blocks back with us, coming back into our half splits. Inhaling as we roll forward. And then if you like, you can choose to come back into those half splits. Or if you like to take this into a slightly wider variation, you can begin to walk that back knee back slightly. We'll shift the hips back, supporting ourselves with the blocks or fingertips, and perhaps extending that left heel forward, only if this is part of your practice. So this position is a great position to use to practice being okay with where you are. Perhaps you're in the same modified pose you were before. Perhaps you've chosen something different. Anything is fine here. And now rounding the back slightly, pressing into the hands or blocks. We'll bring that left heel back in front. Walk that right knee forward if you had chosen to walk it back. And then coming back up on the toes on the left side, we'll allow that left foot to come next to the right. And just release back down into this forward fold. Nice big deep breath here. And then we'll take a big step back with the right foot, dropping the right knee to the mat this time. And exhaling as we shift the hips back, pulling the left toes back towards the face. Rolling forward on that left foot. And if you'd like to take the same variation on this side that you did on the other, you can walk that right knee back and allow that left heel to move forward. I myself am experiencing some tendonitis in my left Achilles, so I'm just going to choose to shift my hips back, coming back into my same modified half splits on this side. Nice deep breath here. And then rolling forward through that foot or pressing into the blocks to pull that left heel back. We'll come back up onto the toe. And then inhale the right foot back to meet the left. And exhale, forward fold. And then from here, inhale up to stand with a flat back. Hands come to heart center. And just taking a moment to experience how the legs feel, how the hamstrings feel. Great, done an awesome job today. Let's inhale our arms up overhead and exhale as we come into our last forward fold. You can bring the hands to the blocks or not. And then we'll plant both hands, coming back into your plank or half plank and coming through one last vinyasa or shifting back to downward facing dog, whatever suits you today. Make this vinyasa your own. Coming through any movements that feel good for you here. And then finally meeting in downward facing dog when you're ready. And once you've found your way to downward dog, 3 nice deep breaths here. Breathing in acceptance, breathing out judgment, breathing in forgiveness, breathing out criticism, breathing in love for yourself, and exhaling that love out to anyone else who needs it. And now we'll allow the knees to come down to the mat. We'll shift over and come into a seated position. Bring the soles of your feet together, coming into your cobbler's pose or butterfly. And remembering, if you like to use blocks, you can bring those underneath your knees here, particularly if this pose is difficult for your body. And so bringing your fingers around your toes or underneath your feet or around your ankles. Just coming into this cobbler's pose. And now allowing the knees to close here, maybe using your hands to help move your knees up. We'll shift those blocks out of the way and we'll come down around and come down to the back. So coming down to your back now, you might bring your knees into your chest, rolling out slightly through that lower back. And then bringing the soles of the feet to the floor. We'll allow the hands to come down next to the hips, and we'll bring those heels as close to the tail as we can. And then pressing into the palms of the hands here, we'll pull the knees in towards each other as we inhale the hips up. Maybe shifting the chin slightly up towards the ceiling and the chest towards the chin, coming into our bridge pose. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then as you're exhaling, rolling down slowly, one vertebra at a time, until finally that lower back finds the floor. Taking a moment here to let it all relax. And then once again, pressing those palms into the floor, pulling the knees in close to each other, and inhaling, hips come up. Choosing to stay here if you like, or maybe walking those shoulders up underneath the back, interlacing the fingers, shooting those hips up just a little higher here. Three deep breaths. And then letting those fingers come apart if you have them interlaced, walking the shoulders out from underneath the back and exhaling down one vertebra at a time. And then bringing the knees back into the chest. That feels nice. Rolling out through the lower back. And now allowing the knees to separate. You can reach through and grab the toes or the outsides of the feet. Tucking the chin slightly here. Letting the Neck and shoulders be relaxed. And even your happy baby. Maybe your happy baby includes you holding on to your shins rather than your toes. So finding whatever modification here works best for you. Maybe you're ready to reach through, grasping the outsides of the feet. Anything is fine. There's no expression of this pose that's better or less than others, only the expression that's yours. And now letting this come to stillness, we'll bring the soles of the feet together. We'll use the hands to help yourself lengthen your legs out to the corners of your mat, bringing the shoulders up underneath the back, and then taking a big, deep breath, letting it out with a sigh. Feel how your body naturally relaxes as you exhale here. And then begin bringing yourself back into your body, much in the same way that we did at the beginning of class. Allow yourself to explore the sensation of what it feels like to be inside your toes, stretching out your awareness to each toe, one at a time. Allowing your awareness to move naturally into your feet and ankles. Exploring the curve of your calf and your knee. Allowing your awareness to fill your upper leg, your pelvis, your belly. Allowing it to rise into your chest. Becoming aware of your heartbeat and your blood flowing through your body. Feeling into each finger of both hands. Into your palms and wrists. Working your way up your arms and into your neck. Letting those neck muscles know it's okay for them to relax. Allowing your facial muscles to relax completely. No one's looking. No expression you need to make. And then just rest here in awareness of your entire body. Allow yourself to take a deep breath. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And then when you're ready, roll to one side, cradling your head on your arm for a moment. And then when you're ready, bring yourself back up to a seated position, keeping your eyes closed or your gaze lowered. The poem I brought to share tonight is called Autumn Air by Lee Bai. The autumn air is clear, the autumn moon is bright. Fallen leaves gather and scatter. The jackdaw perches and lights anew. We think of each other. When will we meet? This hour, this night, my feelings are, and I'll let you fill in the blank. Thank you for sharing your practice with me tonight. It's a blessing to show up and have you come with me every time. May your yoga follow you off the mat.